Christian Mamas. We are 3 Christian moms with a progressive mindset and loving hearts and minds. We are imperfect humans, but we're all loved in God's sight. At some point, we've all felt like the church and Christianity may not have been for us, but God isn't looking for perfection. He's just looking for you.
We are not experts in Christian theology, and we do not represent any particular Christian faith or church. We are simply here to be authentic, and we hope you join us on this journey.
Hello, welcome back to Messy Christian Mamas. This is Kendra. This is Gailey.
And this is Ashley.
I think.
What order do we always go in?
And we have our special guest back with us again this week, our friend and mentor mom, Shelley Jakubowski.
Hello.
Yay. Hi, Shelley. So, just a quick refresher. Shelley is mom to 3 kids, 1 graduating high school this year, 1 in college, and another in grad school, right? And married mom of almost 25 years, which is exciting for you guys. Was a military spouse for a very long time. And yeah, we have so much to learn from you, Shelley. And this is only like scratching the surface. Any parenting fails this week? We just want to skip that one. Okay. We're not going to do that one. I just looked at Kaylee and she said no.
Avoiding eye contact at all costs.
Hilarious. So, do you guys, Shelley and Ashley specifically, do you guys parent your children, each child that you have, the same, or do you parent each of them differently?
Differently.
Yeah.
And I learned that from teaching, too.
Okay.
Yeah, for
kids
sure.
are very different. Yeah.
I mean, same rules, right? Like,
Yeah.
one doesn't have different rules than the other. Like, there's house rules, kind of, but there's not...
But each one has different needs, like in how you help them adhere to
Approach
those
them
rules.
differently.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline them differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that through teaching that, like, some kids are really... they really respond to incentives, and some kids respond more to timeout. Some kids respond more to like gentle parenting, but in like a teaching way. And yeah, my kids are the same way.
Okay.
Yeah. For sure.
Did your parents do that? They parent you 3 differently, Kaylee?
We were so far apart.
Yeah.
With us being 4 years apart, like, I feel like I was definitely... I was a military kid up until the age of 6.
Yeah.
So I was parented very different than my middle sister, who was a preemie, than the youngest one, who I was 8. My mom also ran a home daycare.
Yep.
So, I feel like we probably were parented differently. Like, looking back, like, Courtney always got much more of the softer parenting because she was a preemie and she nearly died. And so I feel like, and, you know, Kelsey always got a little bit more of the, whatever. Because they're just like,
I mean,
it was 8 years after the fact. So.
Let's be real. The oldest child or the only
the
child
experiment.
is the guinea pig child,
Yeah.
right? Like, they're trying to figure it out.
I know I was really close to my dad because my dad was gone for almost 2 years of my life. So I was
a long time.
I was a year when he got stationed overseas. So, and we did not go, he wasn't going to a place where we could follow him. So my mom and I moved to England and stayed with her family for almost 2 years. So, and this, this is before FaceTime and phone calls and everything like that. So I didn't know my dad for 2 years. So I feel like ever since then, my dad has always tried to catch up on that.
Yeah.
So my dad and I have a very close relationship, and I think it really does kind of fall back to the fact that he missed so much time.
Sure.
But, I mean, it doesn't mean he's any less of a dad to the other 2.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I just think there's just a little bit... I feel like I get away with slightly more
Yeah.
because of that.
My mom parented myself and my brother and sister so differently. My brother and sister are only a couple of years apart, but there's 15 and a half, almost 16 years between my brother and me.
Yeah.
And so differently. We were parented so differently, but it's always funny to me when we hit things that are similar. For some reason, it's like, I feel like I just almost had a different person as a mom, but then we'll have conversations and it's like, oh, she did that to you too? Oh, okay, so we did have the same mom after all.
She probably was a completely different person.
Sure.
Right,
Yeah.
Well, I like
Anytime
the
she
idea of,
had
like,
you-
every child you
had
have,
you.
they're born into a different family.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
You were like a second mom probably to them,
Yeah.
and being a
Oh, yeah.
16-year-old.
I say I was like an aunt,
Yeah.
but like one that worked without pay.
My best friend had that too. Yeah. Yeah.
I was the oldest in a family home daycare. Believe me, I understood the
Yeah.
working with no pay.
It was a lot.
Our age difference for for my family, my two younger brothers is the same.
Four.
I'm 5 and 3 really, but yeah, I'm 8 years older than the youngest.
Oh wow.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's a massive difference when you're 20 and the youngest is 12.
Yeah.
And they're going through their teen angst, middle school years. The last thing they want to hear from their older sister is that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that they're gonna get over it. Kelsey and I did not have a close relationship until I moved out.
Yeah.
And then she called me like 2 weeks after I moved out, moved to Savannah. She called me. She was like, "Oh my God, I miss you so much. I did not realize how much trouble I was gonna get into with you gone." And I was like, "You're welcome."
So,
That's funny.
what was the most important thing in parenting your kids in middle school, Shelley?
It's funny, my brain always goes to Madison with these questions because, well, she was my guinea pig, right?
Yeah.
I think that I always thought that I wanted to be the house where the kids wanted to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Then and that might be a little helicopter momish, but I wanted to know my kids' friends, and I wanted to know what they were all up to, you know. And you don't know what they're up to at someone else's house, you know. So I think really getting to know not just their friends, but the friends' parents. So, you know, not that you have to be like friends with them, but to at least have contact with them, so
Good
you
parenting
can
hack.
get to know the kids' families, you know, their friends' families.
What about high school?
Well, it gets a little harder because I still feel like middle school, like so-called planning their play dates, is still a thing with the parents because transportation, right? Like obviously. But in high school, gosh, they start getting more independent, and they, you know, some of them drive, and and here they drive earlier with the golf carts, you know. Just, I don't know. I think still, like, the friend thing is obviously, friends are important for all of our ages, you know, not just kids. I'm not sure it changes so much on what's important. It's just you have to let go a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so, you know, thank God for Live 360. So you can see their whereabouts.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but certainly a tool. Yeah. Just
Okay.
that letting go gets hard.
And then, does that same idea continue as they get into college? You just have to let go even more.
No clue what's going on when they're off at college. That's the weirdest thing. That's what I'm talking about. Like this whole transition period, you're like, it's just so weird. Like, and not everyone goes to college, and that's a-okay.
Yeah.
But you know, my two, well, they're all gonna head to college. So, but it was like there's certain rules when you live in this house. But man, it changes in a split second.
Yeah.
As soon as they're off at college, same rules don't apply, you know.
Right. You have
Still
no
might know
control
their
over it, really.
whereabouts but you don't know really what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that gets hard.
What is the most rewarding thing about middle school? Yeah, I know, not a lot, right? That they're still like little,
I mean,
and you still get sweet moments here and there.
yeah, I think anytime. I mean, I still think like in middle school there was still a lot of a smaller group, whereas you know, like they did what do you call like teams, right? Does your school do that?
Yeah.
So it's not quite as big and out there as like high school or college would be, but they're still in a smaller group. And I just think those teachers still make a point to like recognize certain things. You know, I remember Justin got like, you know, math student of the year or something. So former math teacher, of course, I was super proud of that moment. But I mean, I think there's just little acknowledgments that they get. And this middle school here, they did some cool stuff with like they did an art show, and so that was kind of fun to see how they had developed their art just in 3 years. It was incredible to see different things like that. So I think there's still like little school things. Like, even though they might not be plastering it to your refrigerator like they did in elementary, they're still proud of their work, and so it's fun to share in that.
Does that change once they get to high school? I mean, it's a little bit bigger. Their world expands.
For mine, there was just kind of some bigger things, really. Like, it got bigger. There was, musicals and plays to go watch, and if you've got a kid on a football team, like, I think the
Watching
activities
them, grow and develop must be just
there's so much more to
ways.
offer kids in high school than at middle school. More activities, more clubs, more things to get involved with. So that's kind of fun, because I think they're so awkward in middle school, and then they kind of find their own, and they find their own people, like in high school. They find their little group, their niche. Others like them more so, and so that's kind of fun to watch.
What about college? Is it just like seeing them because they're gone so much? Then you get to see them. And
If you
like,
can talk your kids into actually coming home from time to time, it's really nice when that happens. We actually make a point. I wouldn't say that my kids' college is known for their football. They've gotten better through the years.
They didn't have a football team.
Well,
when I
there
was
you go.
there.
You went there, yeah.
So.
But not all of my kids are into going to football games at all.
Yeah.
But Eric and I have made a point to at least go to a football game once a year, just to support their school.
That's nice.
Or
That is nice.
go to there was plays. We would go make a point to go and watch some of those things.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, I love that. So, celebrating things. I feel like this just gets tricky, understanding like what your kids want to be celebrated for as they get older. And like, is that different from middle school to high school to college?
Well, just using my 3 kids as an example, I think it depends on their personality, because even Eric and I are very different as far as public praise. Like, do not pull me up in front of a group of people and start saying nice things about me, because I will be angry that you did so. I'm more of a quietly, you can say thanks, don't praise me in front of a large group. So, I don't think everybody wants a party, and I think Andrew is more of my quiet, he's like a small group kind of person. Yeah. He's got his tight-knit little group, and he's cool with just that. So I knew that when he graduated high school, where we came from really celebrated 8th grade graduation. And I don't know if that was just a historical thing, because maybe, honestly, where I grew up is farm country. So honestly, I think it stemmed from
Some
maybe
kids would not go to high school.
my parents' age. It's they wouldn't finish high school, so
they had to go work the farm.
They celebrated 8th grade, and so coming here, then again, Madison did 3 different schools, and 8th grade here, she was so mad that Georgia doesn't celebrate an 8th grade graduation. Because she would have had one back in California.
Sure. She deserved to be
interesting.
celebrated.
And that girl likes to celebrate. So, yes. So she was all about a party when she graduated from high school. Andrew, I had to get a little tricky with it. Mm-hmm. And it just worked in my favor that my husband was also turning 50. 2 days within Andrew's graduation, so we did a joint party. Oh, and then all the focus wasn't just on Andrew, and I think it worked.
He felt more at ease there.
Yeah, and his buddies were there, and then all the other people that he...
That's good. So it's less about the age of the kids and more just about the personality.
The person, I think, yeah.
That makes sense. Is there a scripture that you've leaned on in the really difficult storms of parenthood?
Well, if I'm being completely honest, it's probably not as much as I should, but I will say one of the I might have to look this up so I don't mess it up, but I picked a life verse along with my kiddos here at church when I was their small group leader, and so when they were getting confirmed and picking their life verse, I did the same thing, and I think it just fits everything. It's not specific, I suppose, to parenting, but trust in the Lord. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He'll make your path straight.
Love that.
There's another one I looked up a little earlier, also in Proverbs, that I did write it. It's like bring up your kids. Yeah, I wrote it down.
Yeah,
sorry,
I don't remember how it goes, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, sorry. Like train up your. Oh shoot.
This is what I always do with my notes, Shelley.
Yeah, I'm like all
Kaylee
over
gets
the
mad at me.
place. Oh, here it is. Here it is. It's Proverbs 22:6.
Because you keep things
My
in
quirky
large...
brain, I'm like, train up your pigeons. Like,
Yeah.
kids,
No.
It's because you keep things in large paragraphs, and I'm like,
right.
just bolded things a little bit or highlighted things. You'd be able to find. No, the worst is when you drop your papers and then you have to pick them up. That's when.
Well, this one.
We're never gonna.
I
find
found it. Sorry. This is Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. So,
That's a good one.
I don't know. I think the hard thing is when you're in the moment because you're angry.
Mm-hmm.
And if you let the anger lead what you say, or if you let the anger lead your discipline, I think that's the hardest thing because that's probably the thing we shouldn't do.
Right.
So I think if you can, with all your might, just like take that deep breath and then try to lovingly, I think that, if I would take the time to pray and take the time to but are you given that time in the heat of the moment too?
Sure.
Like it might be an afterthought, right? Like, oh, how should I have done this? Sometimes you can't see those moments coming, but.
So, Shelley, what else do you wish that you knew about parenting before you experienced it?
I remember walking out, getting ready to leave the hospital with Maddie, and it was like, how are they letting us leave right now?
Right.
This is so weird,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I'm maybe it's better that you don't know.
Oh, I love the magic and wonder
Really,
of that.
because what if there's a story you hear from somebody else and it never applies to you and you constantly worry about it. Like I think we all worry enough as moms. Maybe we don't need to have that. Your kid, just you wait. We don't need to be told just you wait.
Yeah.
Just you wait. I think that's a hard one.
That is great advice. Shelley, thank you so much for joining us for 2 whole episodes.
I know. Well, thanks for inviting me, honestly. It was an honor.
I'm going to speak for all of us and say we love you and we so appreciate your time and all the support that you've given to us.
Thank you.
Yes.
I had
For
to
the
laugh when you
podcast.
asked because I was like, messy Christian mama. Okay, messy, check. Christian, check. Mama, check. All right. I guess I qualify.
So let's end with a prayer. Shelley, do you mind closing us out in prayer?
Sure.
Okay.
Lord, thank you for placing women in our lives that can help us on our path of motherhood. We are mindful that you chose our children to be a part of our lives. And we thank you for that trust, and we, just do our best to make sure that they feel loved and important, and just that we can get them to the point where they can stand on their own 2 feet and just keep their happiness at heart. Thank you. Thank you for giving us the mother or the mothers that we adopt, and we're just thankful. Amen.
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 I wrote and then I went off topic.
So welcome back to Messy Christian Mamas. I know we already recorded our prayer, but we have some messy Christian drama we wanted to get into, so we had to wait for our mentor mom to leave. No, I'm just kidding. But really, we're back to do a little messy Christian drama. So I have this, it's kind of a long one, Ashley.
Okay.
I'm going to warn you. It's a little bit complicated, but I think there's a lot here. Okay, so the title is, first, it comes from the AITAH subreddit. The user is tired of editing shit. Whoever's out there. Hope they didn't hear. The title is am I the asshole for leaving my partner and refusing to be involved in any way, shape, or form after they stopped taking the pill and pierced our condoms to have a child?
Oh.
Yeah, it's a lot, right?
Wow.
It's a lot. Okay, so here's the original story, and there are updates too. My partner has been on the pill throughout our relationship, and we've been in a bit of a battle these past few weeks over having children. I categorically said that I don't want them and started using condoms for double protection. This morning, she told me that she's pregnant. And I asked how this could happen when we'd been so careful. She admitted to coming off the pill and piercing through the condoms that we have stored. I've said that I don't want this and that I'm not up for marrying into a relationship based on lies. She says she's keeping it and has already told her friends, as according to her, she'd done the test 8 weeks ago and was keeping it quiet in the hopes that I'd change my mind. I have no idea what to do here. Help. I'm in England and I'm 29.
Wow,
So
that's just
the
insane.
story, right?
Yeah.
I know. So,
Oh, man.
first reaction, what do you think before we hear the updates?
I was gonna say, like, talk about a boundary violation.
Massive.
You're right. Yeah, that's just horrible.
I know, it's so tricky. I mean, there's still a child that's going to be in the mix, right?
Right. I personally don't believe in abortion, so I of course keep the baby.
Yeah.
I think the right thing for him to do would be to, be there for the child. I don't know if I would stay in a relationship with this person,
Right.
But definitely I would.
But you have a
stay in the
child
child's
now.
life. Yeah.
Okay, here's the first update. Firstly, thanks so much for all your comments. I didn't expect this to blow up quite so much as it did. Secondly, I want to get a few things straight as people seem to be struggling with timelines. My partner and I were due to get married in a few short weeks. We have had many long and involved conversations during our relationship about us both wanting to remain a child-free family over the years that we've been together. Around 2 to 3 months ago, they started to appear to change their mind, which I feel insecure and unhappy about, as it is not something that I want from life, which is why I booked a vasectomy through NHS. I can't afford to go private as money is very tight. Again, another reason I do not want children. That was A. B is she admitted to tampering with condoms and said that she'd come off the pill several weeks ago. At that point, prior to her saying that kids might be an option for her, we were still having sex, and I was under the impression that we were protected as she was not on the pill. I have made no secret about how I do not want kids, and she is fully aware of my reasons behind that, which I do not have to share with strangers on the internet. And C, she has shown me a test and it confirms that she is pregnant. I have asked that she get an abortion. She has refused, and I feel the trust has gone completely from our relationship. We are now in the process of canceling the engagement, which she isn't happy with at all, and has said that I'm ruining her life. Now, for those people telling me to go to therapy, man up, or that I'm lying, it's great that you disagree with me, but I'd never tell you to attend therapy if your worldview differed to mine. That I should be at fault after my partner has lied to me apparently for months, and that I'm a liar. Here's a few other things for you. This is a long update. No, I do not like kids, and I don't like entitled parents. I see it the same as disliking dogs, cats, or birds. That is my opinion. Not for everyone, and not all people have to tolerate your madness. My disinterest and lack of care toward them is one of the many reasons why it would be idiotic for me to be a father. Those calling bullshit on the 21 plus wedding venue thing are just wrong. It's a stipulation of the venue we chose, nothing more, nothing less. That must refer to a comment somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about. And this other one refers to a comment too. The plane thing happened several years ago. The smoking area fiasco occurred over a year ago. I don't know. Colleagues bringing their newborns into work is a continued pain and just really gets my goat. Just like some people don't like Susan to eat her tuna mayo baguette. It shows a complete and utter lack of etiquette and thought by parents who are coming out in their droves to tell me how wrong I am about their decision. And says, we'll provide updates as and when I get through all the comments. Be kind, people.
Okay, so I think he is the a-hole for asking her to get an abortion. Like, that's just kind of
For
messed
sure.
up. That's real messed up.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's being a-hole to say you don't want kids. Like, some people don't want kids, and that's totally okay. And it sounds like he communicated that, and someone taking that like really bad boundary violation and changing someone's life, that's really not a good thing.
I mean, that's kind of it's not harassment, but it's like I can't think of the word for it. Like reproductive. Anyway.
You're right.
For it, but like very wrong. Okay, the next update. I spoke to a lawyer earlier today who has advised that as we are not married, that I won't automatically be added to the birth certificate. Woohoo! My ex-partner still claim that I'm the biological father, but without my consent to a DNA test is unlikely to be able to prove it unless it is ordered by the court. But as I've been coerced into this, my lawyer thinks ex-partner and family will back down as I have evidence. The lawyer advised that I don't waive my parental rights yet, as it would indicate that I still believe the fetus could be mine. So I just have to bide my time and leave the country till this all blows over. The lawyer also suggested that I go self-employed, but didn't divulge the specifics. My ex-partners admitted to coming off birth control and piercing the condoms, which she said she'd done around 3 months ago, and she knew I was due a vasectomy early next week and thought I'd changed my mind. She has refused to have an abortion, which is her right, and I've refused any involvement. Has anyone been through this before and managed not to pay out? I think I've got a pretty good case. This just gives me the ick.
Yeah, why? Why does he need to leave the country and change his employment? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Just to like completely get away from, I think he's just trying to shirk any responsibility he has for the child.
Okay, that seems excessive.
Like I get it. You don't want kids. Like,
right.
You've been heard loud and clear.
Right.
You don't want kids. And this woman did, a terrible thing. Like, she should not have done that. But it's been done and there's a child now.
Yeah. I would feel like, you still need to. If
I were her, I'd be like, whoa, I made a big mistake and I don't want this person to be a parent to my child.
Right.
Wouldn't you?
But it sounds like maybe she was a little unhinged.
She
to
agreed.
do that in the first place.
Fair, agreed.
So.
Agreed. Okay, here's the next update. Update 3. My ex-partner is going to keep the baby. She wants me to be involved in her life and says she doesn't want to lose me over something like this. A life-changing unwanted event? Yeah, sure, haha. I have said that I will be having nothing to do with this mistake and that all responsibility now lies with her and her family. She has been blocked from using any form of mobile communication with me, and I have now been sent 3 letters by her to my parents' house. The last letter included a scan of the embryo and a note requesting that I submit a DNA sample. The scan has confirmed that she is 13 to 14 weeks pregnant. That's pretty pregnant. Which means that she kept this hidden for a good chunk of time. She has said that she will not have an abortion, as this is what she always wanted, and that she will be taking me to court if I don't offer to help. The more time that goes on, the more she makes this an awful situation, the more I hate her. I refused the DNA test and sent her screenshots on my lawyer's advice of the conversation when she admitted to coming off the pill and piercing condoms in an attempt to get pregnant. She has now gone quiet until this morning. She is pursuing legal action against me, my family, and is looking for a private arrangement of child support. The amount she wants for this bag of cells, is triple the recommended amount via the government, and is one of the reasons she is trying to get me to admit that it's my DNA in the embryo so that she can keep me. I have just lost my job. I have no savings. This is going to ruin me, my life, and the only way out that I can think of is just to run off a cliff and hope for the best. I hate this.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, this guy's really manic sounding. I mean, I know he's dealing with a lot.
Well, I think he was right that he shouldn't have kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think he was right.
She should be like, wow, nope, never mind that DNA test, Here's a document to sign over your parental rights. Wow. Yeah, he should really... Bag of cells. What a terrible thing to call a child. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I say it's so hard for me to relate to because I always wanted kids so badly. I can't imagine having a kid and just saying you're not going to have anything to do with the child.
Sure, it would be stressful, in a certain situation where you're not expecting it or didn't want it, but... And then the last update. My ex's parents have now gone involved and have lumbered me with a court-ordered DNA test or the option to lay child support. I think he meant pay child support, and have no involvement. I have dug my heels in and said that everything she has done will constitute involvement from the police, and am trying to avoid legal battles as I have no money or means to support myself right now, let alone a child I never ever wanted. My parents are now asking me to reconsider my position, and I want to scream every time they bring it up, as they're trying to find a positive and have said that it might be the best thing to ever happen to me, and it makes me physically sick every time I think about my life being ruined over someone else's deception. I cannot sleep. I cannot focus. I'm so scared. I have now had a vasectomy. So, is he the asshole?
Oh, I think they both are.
They both are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the question that he initially asked, am I the asshole for leaving my partner and refusing to be involved after they stop taking the pill and pierce the condoms to have a child? No, not for leaving your partner. The answer just strictly to that question, I don't think you're the asshole for leaving your partner.
No.
But you are an asshole.
Right, yes. You're correct. You should not have made a mini-me. You're correct. But, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you get off scot-free here by any means.
Yeah, I mean, like, life happens. Like, you don't always have control over everything, and you still have to do what is morally right.
Yeah, I mean, how many other ways has life thrown curveballs at you, and you just have to deal with it, right? You just have to deal with it. Like right now, you have no job, no savings. What are you doing? You didn't just jump off a cliff. You went and lived with your parents. Like, things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not OP, but OP's ex-fiance, I highly recommend that you do not pursue this gentleman's paternity
therapy
in this case.
and
all of you need therapy. All of you need therapy.
Right. Oh, man.
So on that note, hope you enjoyed our fun story today, our messy Christian drama, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Messy Christian Mamas. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. Until next time, embrace the mess, share the love, and shine your light bright, my friends.